Good morning, everyone. How's everybody doing today? Kevin Chan here. Usual 7:30 in the morning again, and today we're gonna continue with the journey of looking at Qi Men stem structure, the 100 structure of Qi Men, which is gonna take us 2.5 years to finish. Okay, right? Yeah, it's gonna take that long, right? Yeah, it's 100 of them. 100 of them is 52 weeks in a year. So it's gonna be 2 years only can reach 100 weeks. Yeah, we do this once a week, right? If provided I'm free. Okay. Right. This morning is a very wet morning, right? So they got an early morning shower here, and now the environment is super cold. Right, so I think we are moving into the colder period of the year already. Right. So although Malaysia is 24/7 summer, our normal temperature is like 28, 32. That's our normal temperature all year long. But we do have like I don't know, a mini night winter here right now, right? So it's still considered winter time, right? So Beijing just has its first snow, I think a few days ago, right? So there is a lot of Beijing snow video, right? Because I went to Beijing, right? So I do went to Beijing, right now, just finish curating the entire excursion for the Taisan, and Beijing will be one of the stop that will be there, experiencing and learning some of the feng shui architecture in Beijing, right? So that's what we'll be doing there, right? So since everyone gonna fly into Beijing itself, so and don't do anything in Beijing, it's gonna be such a waste, right? All right. So for those of you who want to go and experience Beijing from a different point of view, so which is from the feng shui perspective, not the tourist perspective, okay, right? So you can basically join in my excursion. It's gonna be on the early September, 30th August until 7th September. That's the period where we'll be going to a bit of a tour, right? So it's going to be 3 province tour. We're going to do Beijing, we're going to do Shandong, and we're going to do Hebei, right? So it's going to be 3 province in there, right? So yeah, China is freaking big, right? So now, good morning first. I can see PJ Cock is around, Pepper is around, Peter Sia is around, Guan Boon, Jocelyn, Lian, I'll call you Lian then. Cheng, Manuel is around. Winnie just joined in, right? So how's your place? Any rain in your place? It's pretty heavy raining outside right now, so the temperature is very, very cold, right? So today we're going to be looking at the 100 stem structure, and it's going to be the Wu and Wu structure, because current hour is a Wu and Wu hour. So you have a fuin chart right now, right? So now we will talk about the chart as well. So this particular session, at the same time, we're going to talk about one specific structure. We can also have a little small discussion on the chart itself, right? So that one probably going to help you out in terms of speeding up how you're going to read a Qi Men, right? So without proper practice, whatever art you learn also cannot work one. Yeah, it's the same thing, even if it's you read a lot of book on cooking, a lot of what we call ingredient book, a lot of your recipe, right? If you don't go and cook it, right, it's not going to work. And do you think after reading the recipe one time you go and cook, it's going to work? It's not going to work. You're going to cook a lot of time, and you're going to feed it to a lot of people. A lot of people are going to get indigestion. Then after some time, your cooking work. Okay, right? So that's basically the art of practicing, right? So today we're gonna take a look a bit of the practice and understand a bit, right? So come, let's take a look, right? So chat can see, right? Why is the black thing at the bottom? I think I need to readjust the chat, but never mind lah, don't care. That's not for you to read anyway, right? All gray in Denmark, right? 9 degrees. 9 degrees, I'll be dead. I think I cannot function anything below 15. Right, my brain completely shut down, my body shut down at about 15 degrees. Yes, I'm that bad. All right, come, let's move into this, right? So now in the entire idea of Qi Men, right? So the at least the proper original one, it is actually a game of 2 parties trying to outwit each other. So in the war is the defensive party versus the attacking party. So war is very simple. There's going to be one party who marches their army from very, very far away. They need to level your city, right? So so that they can capture whatever resources that they want. So in Chinese, it's basically called unification of China, right? So that has been the biggest agenda in China for a very, very long time, right? For thousands of years, right? So China has been on this path of unification, and the first emperor that ever was able to unify China was Qin Shi Huang. So it's the Qing Empire. That was the first ever empire that was able to unify the entire China. So that was done in BC, before even the Gregorian calendar was ever born, before year 0000. Okay, right? So those were done about 200, somewhere around 200 BC, right? Which means 200 years before the Gregorian calendar was ever invented. China has already done a major militaristic attack, and it was done by using 100,000 soldiers. Yeah, that's how much soldier it was required to, so there is a bit of a story, so I will gather the story together, and then one day we will share it together with you. All this legend of all these great emperor, right? So Qin Shi Huang, Han Wuti, your Wu Zetian. Wu Zetian must be inside because why is period 9? he's the only lady emperor around, so we have to add that further in, right? So then of course your Ming Chao Yongle, and then your Kangxi, all those kind of guy, I will compile a bit of their story, then we will talk about their feng shui perspective, right? So we talk about it, right? So those are sharing that's coming down, right? So I'm compiling all this, right? So just because of the excursion, right? So now back to this one, right? So it's basically two bodies trying to outweigh each other. So the QiMen is what we call a energetic map that lay down the condition of the battle at that point in time. So both parties is trying to capture the most auspicious or the most supported position, so that they can things, right? So it's like the picture lah. The fisherman trying to lure the fish is trying to lure the fisherman. That's the right. So that's why in QiMen you need to learn how to read the box. So you need to go and find the box which is most advantage to you, in accordance to the stuff that you are trying to do, right? So that is the part which is very difficult for a lot of people, because not many people are accustomed to the entire idea of you need to have something that you are doing. Right? A lot of people, when they approach Chinese metaphysics, and also no thanks to how Chinese metaphysics was sold for all this long, it is sold together with the religion, magical, you don't need to do anything, God will come out and help you type of narrative, which is a very, very wrong narrative, by the way. Right? So you want this to happen, a lot of time your effort is what judge, and a lot of people did not put in the correct effort. They just sit around, wait for stuff to happen, so it doesn't happen. Right? So once you understand what do you need to do, what are the things that you intend to do, then you start to understand that which energetic palace actually support your activity. So you just position yourself at the energetic place where you support your activity, then magic happens. It's like turning on a TV, right? You have a TV, you don't have a point whereby there is a power plug for your TV to plug in, no magic happen, right? So a lot of people is like that. They buy a TV, then they expect the TV to work, but they did not plug it onto the power point. So it won't work lah. How can QiMen be used for sport betting? Why you always want to use it for sport betting? A lot of way lah, right? A lot of way to basically use for sport betting. Easiest one is left court versus right court, right? So if you know the positioning of the courts, then you can use the two opposing palace. I'm talking about opposing palace. Right? So if the spot is not opposing palace one, the assessment is different. Right, so depend on how the sports is actually being. So there's just a lot of way to do so. Right, there's a lot of way to do so. You can even lock different players, right? Provided that you have enough information. So it depends. It depends. Right. So come, let's move on to rate result. As usual, getting in touch with me, Telegram would be the best. Come and join my Telegram group. Right, so there's stuff to download, right? So and this is where I will put in some announcement. Like yesterday we talked about some activation, so the activation date, I put it inside the Telegram already. For those of you who are in Telegram, you get it, right? So for those of you who are not in Telegram, then too bad. Right. So next is basically the newsletter. The newsletter is a where I brain dump information. Right. So information that I think it should be kept, right? So it brain dump. So now mainly what I put is the excursion information. If I go anywhere around in Malaysia to look at new temple and whatever it is, I will do a small write-up on the temple usually, right? So on the place, and then I'll put it into the newsletter. Or under normal circumstances, it's going to be all the forecast, like the forecast for the month of January. So it has already been uploaded inside, so it will automatically appear in your mailbox when the time comes. And also all the forecasts for the 12 animal in a super lengthy manner, all 4 pillar, right? So I think I'm the only one who's crazy enough to go and write for all 4 pillar, but anyway, it is all inside the monthly newsletter. Right. So, and of course, there is always a community of people like-minded, everybody practice Chinese metaphysics, you want to have a discussion. If you ever have any get together, right? So we are planning a get together, the host is still floating in the sky right now, don't know what is above his head. It's going to be a wine and dine, not really going to have wine. It's going to be on the 24th. According to him, it's going to be on the 24th. I don't know whether you can pull it together or not. So, but anyway, it's on the 24th, because there's a FSA in Malaysia, right? So Malaysia, we have this annual feng shui conference that we do, right? So every country also have one, right? So it's going to be on the 24th, 25th. So the night of the 24th is where we're going to get the gathering. Because why? There's already so many practitioners together. We sit down, we have a bit of a deeper discussion on the area of here, right? So we may be invite some expert in other lines, which is also together with Chinese metaphysics, to give a bit of a introduction on some of the topic they may not be too well publicized. All right, so we're gonna talk about that, right? So for those of you who want to join, please do pay attention to the community channel, which is a Facebook page, by the way. Okay, right? So come, let's go in and take a look. So this is 100 different stamps. So in QiMen, there are 2 stamps. One we call heaven stamp, one is called the earth stamp. So if you take a look later, we will talk about it. All QiMen plate is the same. They will have 2 stamps, one on top, one on bottom. And by the way, traditionally, the one at the bottom is called the defense player. The one on the top is called the attacking player. So now for your spot, now is 2 sides. The host and the visiting player. Yeah, I'm not God, right? So there always, the court always belong to someone, whoever is the same country one is called the host country law. Then there's the visiting country players, right? So yeah, it's like that. Okay, right? So that one is the top and bottom. Or if it's the individual circumstances, the bottom represent the past, the top represent the present. Or you want to call it the future also can, right? So up to you, no matter what it is, right? So there's 100 of them. You can have 10 stamp, and also you can have another 10 more stamps. So you add up together, it's called 100 stamp. But of course, the jia is always not on the plate. So if you remove all the jia combination, you get 81 combination. So officially, you have 81 combination. You don't really have 100 combination, but yet, if you know how to identify the jia, then you get, 1 row of hidden combination. 1 row of hidden combination, right? So let me see, good. My brain should shut down below 15 degrees, right? I'm cold-blooded creature. Okay, come, let's go in on the Wu and Wu combination, the Wu and Wu combination. So top Wu, down Wu, right? So now analyzing, okay, in analyzing, for those of you who, hey, why is there a heart there, right? Or else I don't remember which one has been done. Put a little heart there, mean that it has been done already. So if you look at the particular table, we have done 2 already, 2 different things. You see, I also don't remember which one we do. Please don't go and ask me which one is done, which one is not done. Just go and search the video. Right, go and search the video, go and watch it. Pretty simple, right? So Wu and Wu. So when you have 2 same symbol, I would just call it symbol. So when you have 2 same symbol, we call this the situation of what we call fuin. Right, fuin mean that same sound. Fanyin mean different sound. Right, so fuin in scientific term is called resonating. Right, so if both sound is resonating, it's basically called fuin. Right, so when both sound is opposing, which is cancelling, it is called fuin, right? So that's it. So it's just technical term, right? Technical term don't have to remember. You just call this fuin situation. So it's basically the same energy stacked upon the same energy. So when you have the same energy stacked upon the same energy, the interpretation in QiMen is called non-moving situation, or aka called you are stuck. Why is getting stuck bad? Because a QiMen is usually used to read progression. It is just because of definition purpose. It's used to read progression. So you go to the battlefield, you open up the QiMen chart to read. Is to read what is the next step to do, or is to assess whether my choice of this particular step is going to yield a positive result or not. So when you see a fuin, the answer is no change. So no change means that you attack is going to be like that, you don't attack is also going to be like that. So the situation is, in the first place, is that that city doesn't belong to you, correct or not? So you want the situation is that the city to be belong to you. When you see fuin, mean that no matter whatever you do, like this current moment, the city is not going to be belong to you. So should you still attack people? No, right? So if you see a fuin situation, you happen to be the defender, good. See, if you are a defender, you see a fuin situation, mean that there's no way the other party can win. Okay, so everything is gonna stay the same, right? So in sickness assessment also, right? So when you see a fuin, mean that you're not gonna die yet, right? Because progression in sickness is, if you progress, you're gonna get worse, correct or not, right? So that particular sickness, downward spiral. Right, so actually no progress is good in sickness, right? So that's why I say that fuin is not bad, right? It depends, right? So, and fuin give you a breather. Yeah, everything, situation, certainly stop, it give you a breather for you to think, right? It doesn't move the thing, the agenda doesn't get moved forward, right? So that's the positive side of having fuin. The bad side is that if you're eager to move, then problematic, right? So then you know that right now we are talking about a situation whereby it is not moving. Then the next question is, what exactly is not moving? Right? So because there's going to be 10 different type of fuin, 10 stem, you can jia jia yi yi, ping ping ding ding, wu wu qi qi, geng geng, geng geng xin xin, ren ren kui kui, right? So there's only these 10, right? So every one of them is basically different things getting stuck, right? Correct, different things getting stuck. So this one is what is getting stuck. So then you need to go back to the individual component, right, which we have already covered all the 10 stem, right? So what does it represent, all those kind of stuff, right? Like for example, Wu represent the storage of wealth of a person, or aka today we call it capital, right? So a person capital, so your capital is stuck. Right? So if you're talking about business, you cannot withdraw your capital. Right, so you're talking about business situation or not, or this is an investment situation. So investment situation means that the money that you already put inside the market cannot be liquefied. You're stuck, right? So that one is from the stuck position, right? So, or you can think of it as from a different position. The Wu represent Jia represent the head of the leader. So this is two leaders sitting together. You can have Donald Trump and also Xi Jinping sitting on the same table. Okay, who's gonna give in? You tell me. No one. None of them's gonna give in. All right, or else you're gonna get Vladimir Putin sitting together with Donald Trump, or Vladimir Putin sitting together with Xi Jinping. Right, so you can have any sort of two major leader. Major have to be major leader, sitting with each other. If you ask Anwar Ibrahim sit together with Xi Jinping, then no need to say Xi Jinping sure win. Okay, right? So it's those type of situation, whereby two Earth is very defensive, very strong opponent sitting across the table with each other. So which means cannot make decision, or it is not appropriate to make decision. So it depends on the circumstance that you are in. Then only you know what this basically means. Right, you can see, right? So this, then you can also put in, and in terms of the elemental, what does the Earth basically represent, right? So it represents a trust. You can say that it represents trust. Earth is highly defensive, where you have two defensive party sitting around. So when you got two defensive parties sitting around, usually none of the party will want to give up their whatever that they are defending. So again, you're going nowhere. Right, so in a negotiation mean that you're in a stalemate right now. You're in a stalemate situation. I protect my interests, you protect your interests. You know, both of us protect our interests. Nobody protect everybody interests. So you silo yourself, you know, then that fellow silo themselves. Right. So we are basically in a fraction situation. If this is the case, if there is a third party coming to attack, both you die together. Okay, right? So those are from the different perspective, the energetic perspective, the elemental perspective, the meaning perspective, right? So that's why it's important for you to understand, you know, one of it is what is inside, right? So many times I tell people is that, you know, in Chinese metaphysics, everything is a receptacle. Receptacle means that it is an empty bin that is thrown in a lot of different meaning. So there's no one meaning for QiMen. So if you are still in the English mindset of thinking that there is one specific answer to this, there's none. If you don't throw that particular rubbish thinking pattern away, you will never be able to read a QiMen chart in a proper manner. Every circumstance is different. So that's why every single person who read for you is different. Okay, right? So a person who is too inclined to relationship reading will only see relationship matter inside this. A person who is too inclined to financial reading will only see financial problem. A person who is too inclined to health reading will only tell you health related matter. So depend. Right. In wealth reading mean what? Mean your money is stuck lah. Your money is stuck, your capital is stuck. The wealth represent capital, storage of wealth. It is stuck, not going anywhere. Right? So, you know, yeah. So it just means that, let's say that you start a business, then your capital is basically stuck on all the equipment and blah blah blah, everything. You know, it's stuck there lah. It's called sunk cost. Right? Your sunk cost is stuck. All right? Right? So you're not recovering your capital. Right? So if it's in investment, so again, your money is in the market, cannot sell, no liquidation. Okay, right? So it's basically there. Right? So in wealth reading with open or live door, does it mean parties are very rich? No. No. Open or live door doesn't mean parties very rich. Okay, right? So when you talk about money, there's many components. There's cash flow component. There is a capital component. There is, you know, working capital component. Many components, right? So money is just not, there's debt, there's equity, you know, there's a lot of stuff when you talk about money. Money is in very different state. Okay, right? So depend on what you are looking at. All right, so like for example, live door a lot of time is represent profit. Right, so open door may probably will be representing the cash flow, so the flow of money. So it's very different in terms of reading. Come, let's continue to do this, right? So this is the classical text. So of course, you know, if you are studying this, there are going to be some classical text out there, right? So that this classical text, you can just Google outside. Yeah, the entire, you know, every single one of them is basically out there already. You just need to know how to read, right? So can you see that, you know, I got Hanyu Pinyin there. Hanyu Pinyin, the Pinyin system is basically just spelling of the Chinese word. Right. So you can see Meng Wai Fuyam. So its name is Fuin, no? So that's why, you know, you see that it's called Fuin structure. Right, so now English translation of the Chinese sometimes can be very quirky one. I'll just tell you first. So now to me is that, no, please don't go and read the English version of the translation and think that that is the meaning. Do not ever take the English as a literal meaning. Too many people does that. Die on the spot. Nothing to do with that. Huh? Right? Nothing to do with the English translation. You know, you got like vermilion bird flying up the sky, die lah you. If you read it, you know, at that particular, you know, way, then, you know, you're gonna be in a problem, right? So then you can see that it said fancy pelai. Fancy pelai mean everything also not good, everything not suit. Right. So Tao Lu Bi Se Tolo picks up, so it's traffic jam. Right. So now like for example, right now is the what we call festive season, right? Festive season, you know, is holiday season. Christmas is coming, New Year is coming, you know. Then you were deciding that, you know, maybe you want to take your family for a holiday. You open up a chart. You open a chart and say that, you know, should I travel at this particular time? And you see the Wu combination. So what happened? If you travel at this particular time, you would definitely meet a traffic jam. That's it, lor. Very difficult to read, man. Not very difficult to read because you already know the framework that you're in. You know, it's basically traveling. So traveling, you know, you are meeting up with the world, mean that, you know, nobody move lah. So your road become a big car park. So if this is the result that you want, go ahead and travel. Okay, 以守为好. So defensive is good, right? So, you know, defensive means that you're in the position whereby in the first place you're not going to move anyway, right? So defense basically mean that, you know, you're not going to make any changes. So if you're not going to make any changes and the situation said that no changes can be made, is positive for you, right or not? No wrong, ma, right? So no, 扶陰主本地, right? So 扶陰主本地mean that it will focus or it will benefit what we call locals, right? It will benefit local. Now local here means that if this is your home turf, it will benefit you, right? So again, it's talking about, you know, the what we call the site that is there, right? So now this one you can basically take a look at. So if let's say somebody is coming over to attack you, and then you see a fuin situation, you can actually attack them back. If this is your turf, if you're attacking someone, then cannot. If they are attacking you, and then, you know, you see a fuin situation, which means that actually you cannot lose anyway. Yeah, the situation is this land belongs to you, so you cannot lose the land anyway. You can actually initiate a fight. You are fighting in your own home turf. Fuin situation, right? So like just now, somebody asked spot betting, you open up, you see a fuin situation on the pen as well. So home turf fellow will win. So you just check which is home turf team. The fellow will win. Right? So 主内部 means it govern internal. So if you're doing anything which is internal, right? So internal, right? Cleaning your house is good. It's called internal, right? So again, the word internal, right? You have to go and qualify what is internal, what is external, right? So like for example, you know, this sort of situation, let's say it's a fuin situation. You are going for a finance department team building, right? So then, you know, but other department join in. So your finance department will find that the team building is going to be beneficial to them. You know, they will have that connection and impact. You know, they will become closer to each other, whereas other department won't benefit from the same thing. So if this is the situation, no point inviting other department into. See, you see different scenario reading become different. Right, but you can see that the structure is the same. 举起 means that, you know, it favor doing things slowly. Yeah, if you are stuck, then doing things slowly. Right. So if you want to do something slow, you know, this one, you know that, you know. So let's say, you know, go to cooking, right? It is good for you to do all the slow cooking. Double boil, slow cooking. So, you know, you're gonna do something and you're gonna slow cook. Pig throttle. Good. Now your cooking is going to be very good. Also traffic jam with delusion door. I have experience with door and sky horse traveling direction. Yeah. So if you are traveling, usually we want the sky horse. All right. So delusion door means that cannot find your way. Delusion door cannot find your way. Don't know what is happening. You know. So Malaysia got a lot of this. I call phantom traffic jam. You see a lot of traffic jam, right? But then after you drive for half an hour, right? Nothing. Then suddenly all the cars speed up. You know, you got block of road whereby all the cars seems to be driving slow there. Then you got block of road whereby, you know, there's no car. Weird. Right? Cannot. Right? So now these are the explanation of the classical text. So that's why if you are studying classical text and your technique is just to remember the classical text, you know, as in just remembering it and try to interpret using the classical text, you'll be missing out with a lot of the actual reading, and there are no explanation on where this come from. Actually there is, but I think the book that explain it is long gone, long destroyed, because, you know, there's just too many war happening in China, and when war happening, you cannot rescue the entire library of book, right? So you can only grab one piece, and probably they've only grabbed the summary piece, or what we call the index piece, and run away lah. And this is what is left. So if you're relying on classical text, you know, as in reference, so again, right, English, when you talk about referencing, you're referencing something that is probably completely written to explain the thing. But in China, you cannot find this sort of stuff. The explanation usually is gone, right? So now what happens is that you need to reconstruct the explanation on your own. Okay, right? So that's why you need to start to understand the individual component, as in the Wu. What is it? What does it represent in this scenario? How does it expand? What are the components that is useful in this particular scenario, not useful in that particular scenario? So like, for example, this is modernization, right? So this is me modernizing it, right? So in putting it in different scenarios. So generally it's telling you when you see the double Wu, the situation is become problematic. It's stuck lah. No, it's like two wall stuck together. Okay, double wall, right? So unable to get things pushed through. The person is stubborn and ignorant. Now, stubborn and ignorant basically come from description of Wu, right? Wu is a very stubborn, very ignorant fella. Right? Sub-Dunjia, 10-year equivalent to 1 day. Never change. That's your Wu. So if you typically has any friend who is Wu, you will see that the fellow very difficult to change unless it's very traumatic experience. Kaboom, dynamite type of explosion, very dramatic. Then only you see them change. If under normal circumstances, they don't change, right? And very ignorant. Right? Ignorant means that you tell them also they don't listen. Right? So they usually don't listen. Their listening skill set is pretty bad. Right? So that's basically generally. So if you throw it into relationship, then you're stuck in this situation. Right? So now, here's it. You're stuck in this situation. What does it mean by you are stuck in this situation? So the premise is that when you talk about stuck in a relationship, means that you already want to progress the relationship. Progress can be run away from the relationship, or you want the relationship to change to the next stage. You want progress, right? So when you see the double Wu, mean that it's not going to change, right? Yeah. So then you have to make your choice, lor. Okay, right? So double Wu is going to be stuck, lah, right? So if you're in a situation, whereby you want the relationship to be stuck, good law, then double Wu is good. You want the relationship to be stuck. You want everything to be status quo. There are some people who want that to happen. Okay, right? So you say, oh, no, I don't want to face everything. I just pretend. It's called Stockholm Syndrome. Right? So some people are in Stockholm Syndrome relationship. Right? So they know that the relationship is not working, but they're still dearly holding on to the rope that is cutting their hand. Right? Oh, for the children, for the family, for the honor, right? So it's happened quite a lot in the olden day. In the olden day, just to uphold the honor of the family. Even if you married over, so you guys know last time when people get married, it's basically for tactical purpose. One family to sort of like lock together with another family. They do this marriage thingy. Yeah, it's basically trading names with each other, right? So a lot of the marriages is basically just QiMen. So it's like hanging a plate, say that we are married together. So these two family, we got connection, right? So the other family will not dare to come and bully either one of the family. That's what basically they do, right? So social conditioning, yes, also correct, right? So under those circumstances, it's relationship, right? So when we talk about investment, then right, so wealth, it probably mean that you need to put in extra money, right? So your capital is basically stuck. Right, so and because of double Wu, it basically said that it may need double the capital. Doesn't mean it's bad. I'll just tell you first. Just tell you first. Like for example, right now the AI, it requires a few billion just to keep it afloat. It's running on negative. And a lot of this new age business is all running on negative one. They lose money like crazy. Like Amazon did not make any money for like the first 8 years. Right? So Facebook is like 12 years down the road only start to make money. Right? So which means that when you are asking a wealth related question, you have to ask your own pocket first. Are you in a state whereby you are desperate for liquidity? So if you're a state that you are desperate for liquidity, the double Wu is a death sentence to you. Okay? You're not going to get your money back. Right? So, but if you're not in a state whereby, you need then the double will become a very strong protection mechanism. Because why? The money cannot come out anyway. Alright, so if you're building a trust fund to protect your money, double Wu is good. It's basically telling you it's time for you to double the trust fund. You guys know what trust funds are for, right? It's how the rich people pass the money to the next generation without the government being able to tax any of the money. That's trust fund, okay? Right, so stuck out but big potential. The big potential part of it is again depend on your strategy, right? So it's basically telling you the money are stuck. That's it. The money is stuck inside there, is not moving. So the good thing is that it will be there. But whether you will survive your condition to eventually when the money get released, you will still be able to do, right? So like health is also stuck. So is food being stuck, right? In the condition of being bloated, right? Condition of being bloated, your food is being stuck, or the right? Generally, it's your hand or your leg. Right, because the earth belong to the Gengua in a state of muscle spasm. My chao gan, sorry. Muscle spasm is chao gan. Ma bei, I don't know how to change to English. Anyone know what ma bei is? No, the one whereby your leg and your hand, suddenly out of control, cannot move on it. Right, so that one, right? So for those of you who are running one, that leg suddenly doesn't work anymore, or you mountain climb, right? So any additional meaning if the South Palace has since jiazi? What do you mean by the South Palace? This one can be in any palace. Cramps, yes, correct. John, good. Cramp, right? So muscle cramp, right? In health, it can also mean muscle cramping, right? Muscle not moving, not muscle cramping. Right, so it can be foot stuck, or muscle cramping, all those kind of stuff. It can happen. You can see, right? So it's the same information. You throw it into different scenario. You need to know what scenario matches what. Then you will have a very clear picture of what is basically happening. Oh, numb also can, but cramp is the correct answer. Cramp is the correct answer. Cramp, muscle cramping. Right, so it's basically that particular situation. Right, so you can see, so you can see that you throw it into different scenario, you have an answer of what is happening. So that's why, red clash reports. Right, so come, let's take a look example. Very easy to see, right? So you can see that this is the current hour chart, right? So this is the current hour chart. So now you can see that like this one, right? So you know that it is in the North Palace. So now you can add a little bit of information from North Palace. So North Palace belong to water. This has to do with traveling. So this one, a lot of time, you can see that it is also together with the grass star. So this one can be what we call a trade blockage or blockade, that you want to call it, right? Or what we call a sanction, probably a business sanction, right? So this one, right? So this situation, so trade is gonna have, because the Kangua represent the trade route. Kangua represent trading, by the way, right? So water is the biggest trading route in the world. Not land, water is the biggest trading route in the world. Right, so that's why a lot of people is trying to secure waterway. Right, so Suez Canal is one of the biggest waterways around, because why? Suez Canal cut the traveling. If you do not use Suez Canal to travel, you would need to spend 2.5 months additional just to go through Africa, the Cape of Hope. Right, so so you can see if you are sending and taking thing trading, if you do not use the Suez Canal, right, so you need to spend 2.5 months over, right? So why don't use the other way to go to America? Same thing, so you go to America, you need to go through the American side of it. It will also waste a lot of time. So the shortest traveling distance is through Suez Canal. So that's why Suez Canal is so important. And China knows it, America knows it. Whoever controls Suez Canal is going to control a lot of stuff, and they don't like it, blah blah blah, whatever, right? So now this one, if you see in the Kangua, probably it will, again, depend on what the question you're asking. So you already know that there's a live door there. This has to do with profit, money generating activity, right? So profit, money generating. Now, like for example, this particular situation, it could tell you that your business profit is basically going to double your capital. Good, right? But the money cannot be used. Your business is called a paper gain. It's called a paper gain, right? So you have not sell the thing, yet, right? So it's probably not moving. Right? So the business profit may go into the business, it may double the business size, which is good, right? Together with Chief. Like this particular Fuin, pretty good. Right? Your business money is basically growing. Right? It's growing at the double of the size, But if you are in rush of trying to use the money, then one is, See, it depends on your situation if you're looking at it, right? So let's go in and take a look at the real live screen, right? So this is the live screen, right? So a live screen, usually what I show you guys is how to do a bit of a selection, right? So you want to take this and then, now you can see, heaven stamp, Wu Earth stamp, Wu Earth. Then you need to go and find some date, let's just find this few days, 16 until 31st, and go search. Then you have all the different worth. So just now, 16 December. If our Fuyin chart, it means whole day is Fuyin. What do you mean by whole day is Fuyin stamp? No, every hour different. No. Our chart is just that 2 hours. The next hour is going to change. Really. Later, I'll change the calendar for you to see. So you can see that there are different Fuyin. So again, it depends on what you are trying to do. Then you can assess what sort of circumstance that you want, right? So what sort of circumstance that you want, and it need to in what we call in line with the activity that you're trying to perform, right? So just few days only, you got now 5 pages of different worth with worth. Right, so different worth with worth, right? So now it's depending on what are the scenario and circumstance that you are looking at, right? So go back first. Let me just move back. So like this particular hour is a Fuyin hour. So if I move to the next hour, right? Can you see the situation change already? Right? So the situation basically moved. Alright, so QiMen is basically a 2-hour, 2 English hour period study of the energy distribution. Okay, right? So it's basically that particular 2-hour study only. It's basically saying that at this current moment, how is my plan? Right? So a bit on the more advanced side is that what we call QiMen date selection, or commonly right now we like to call it strategic execution. Again, it doesn't matter. Is to choose a timing that suits my activity. And that's the other way around. Is basically reverse engineering the timing. Instead of looking at current timing is suitable for my activity or not, I go and choose a timing whereby it is suitable for my activity. So that's called strategic execution. Right? So like for example, you want to see that, I want to do something on a different date, right? So you can go to a chart plotter. So the good thing about software is that you can do this. Right, so our chart plotter, so you can go in and take a look. Let's say that I want to do something on the 22nd. Right? So let's say I want to do something on 22nd. See, 22nd, 9 o'clock, I got a meeting. So I'm gonna check out the meeting. Right, so okay, so this is the energetic circumstance during this particular time on a date of 22nd. Right, so 9 o'clock. So it's gonna be 9 to 11. So I don't really care whichever it is, right? So this is going to be the situation. So then you need to take a look at what are the things that you are trying to do, right? So if let's say that okay, so this is going to be a date, 9 o'clock in the morning, got date, whatever it is, don't care, right? This is going to be a date, right? So then how am I going to position this particular situation? So you can take a look at it. You guys already learned there are certain formation called the Jade Maiden formation, which is good for charming people. Right, so in a date, your job is wanting to charm people, right? So then I will sit myself at the Jade Maiden position. So I will, wherever restaurant it is, I will occupy the south seat. Right, so then if possible, right? So I will put her onto the west because of the harmony, open harmony. Open harmony means that this girl will be into the entire idea of allowing people into her relationship. I'll put it there. So if you put yourself in the West, then you are desperate for relationship. If you put her in the West, then she is ready for a relationship. So she sit on the West, you sit on the South. This would basically causes the thing to if you want her to talk a lot, put her on the North. Phoenix is there. Then she'll start. Provided you can handle the conversation. So depend. Right, depend. Right, can you see? So these are called strategic execution or date selection. Right. So to apply this, you need to be pretty good with scenario. Right? If you're not good with scenario, you're looking at this, you don't know what the hell to do with this. You completely got no idea what to do. Right? So if of course this is a business meeting, you won't be doing Jade Maiden. Why do you want to charm the other guy in business meeting? Right, so again, in business meeting, then it depends on what the hell that you want to do, what the hell that you want to achieve. Right, so probably is if you take a look at it now, sitting in the West, then in a business meeting, sitting in the West probably is good because it indicates that you are somebody who are ready for collaboration, and together with the Earth there, somebody with capital, and also you are open for collaboration. So it's a very open condition, so it's easier to talk to the other party. Right, charm first, sell later. Charm first, sell later. South is something valuable hidden in the earth beside the water. Why suddenly? In a way, also can if you are going for digging for stuff, right? So then maybe you want your opponent to sit in the North. So because in business negotiation, the more you talk, the more you reveal your position, and because that fellow got live door, which means that the fellow got cash flow, right? You want the fellow to cash flow to work together with you, right? In business, you actually want Earth. You do not really want live door. Live door is just profit. So if profit doesn't translate into your Earth, that deal usually not very useful, right? So can see it's pretty easy to me. Right, back to this. Right, so back to this is a fuin. Right, fuin is basically fu, but the door is not right. So this one is just fuin star, and also it is just fuin the stem only. Right, so it's the people is gonna remain the same, the circumstance is gonna remain the same, but your action is different. Right, your action is basically different. So fuin, there are full fuin where all the three components is in fuin. There are no deity fuin by the way. Right, so deity is not applicable to any of the formation. Right, deity is not affected by weather, it's not affected by palaces, it's not affected by deity will always be active. Okay, right, so now difficult, not very difficult. Right, done, not very done. Right, so can you see this one? I got like damn a lot of good stuff. By the way, this is called Tree Victory. The one is at the bottom. So this software will track your Tree Victory for you every month. Okay, right, so you don't need to crack your head into finding Tree Victory. I do see too many people cracking their head, is trying to find Tree Victory Day for themselves. Software settle everything. Okay. Any question? Any a cute question that you want to ask about this? So this is your Wu and Wu. So right now when you see the Wu and Wu, at least you got some idea. If you cannot remember anything, then major stuck. Right, put that traffic jam. Right, stomach cannot digest, leg are cramped. Remember all this kind of stuff. So that when you are reading that time, so is that how to break the stagnation? How to break the stagnation? Again, you can break it through action, right? So the question is, why do you want to break the stagnation? Right? Why do you want to break the stagnation? Eddie, we don't at least in this system we don't read the center palace. Okay, we don't read the center palace. We move everything from the center palace to the palace where the grain star is. The grain star will be housing the center palace. So that's why you see that the grain star place always, the small thingy is basically there. Right, so the small, like for example, this particular hour, the Kui water is at the center. So we move the Kui water to the southwest. Southwest is where the grain star is. Okay. So it just give you another thing stacked on to that. Right. So the southwest, you can read it as Kui Yi, or you can read it as Yi Yi, up to you. Or you can read it as Kui Kui. Right. So there are three things that is happening at the same time there. All right, so no, that's basically what it is there, right? So it depends on what you are reading, then which one is more significant, which one is more correct. It depends on that. There are no fixed answer, right? So don't have any fixed answer mindset when you are reading a QiMen. It's always circumstantial and situational. Right? Once you know what is the thing, then it's easy for you to identify the component. All right. Right, so in my health palace is with DI. Everybody also got DE lah. Your health palace is in DE is you're somebody who is not very aware of your health. That's it. Got problem, don't see. Okay. Could bring you some happy moment as you are not you don't have anxiety over health, which is good lah. Right, so at least in one place, but at the same time also it's dangerous that you are ignorant about your health. Right, so if you already know this, right, what should you do? Go for your annual medical checkup, like that's it. Like you can be ignorant one, but go for your checkup. Right? Ignorant mean that obvious sign has shown up, you're still blur case. A lot of people is like that one. Right? They have obvious sign of health distress that is showing up. Everybody also can see. Like this one, I like to use relationship. It's those kind of relationship where everybody can see except you. You're still like stupid. You seen those people? That girl beside him likes him a lot one. It's only he is the only person who said, no lah, we are just normal friend only. And everybody else want to pick up a stick and just whack the hell a bit. DE is that type. Wherever DE is, you are in that particular condition. Everybody can see except you. And everybody also got DE. Right? Everybody got blind spot, right? So no need to feel special about it. DE is just a condition that everybody has. Yeah, you prioritize. Everybody prioritize things in a different way. Something will be prioritized low, right? DE is your low prioritized zone, no? Right? So in everything that happened, that's the part that is easiest for you to give up. That's DE lah. No right, no wrong one. Even money DE also, is you are not anxiety over money. Okay, ma? Right? Everybody is not anxiety over certain things. Right? Some people are not even anxiety over death. Yeah. Right. Okay. Right. So this is for you, Wu and Wu. Right. So later we may continue with something else. See you guys again. Bye.